Great. And what do you think are the biggest marketing or ad tech trends that we should take notice of right now?
Sure, yeah. So in the MarTech space, one of the big trends I'm seeing is around customer data being the next frontier. We're seeing the largest MarTech providers, folks like Adobe and Salesforce, who are two of the market leaders in terms of market cap and growth, both launching customer data platforms or CDPs. And the change here is that the MarTech world is really shifting from a world of digital identifiers and anonymous data to a world of known customer data. And reason being is that data science has proven, and at Acxiom we study this and model it, that customer data is in fact the most valuable data that a marketer has. So we're seeing the MarTech software landscape shift from the last 10 to 15 years has been around moving applications to the cloud, and the MarTech applications moving to the cloud. And in the next 10 years, we see will be around moving data to the cloud with these customer data platforms. And if rumors are to be believed, Adobe spent upwards of $100 million on its platform already. So I think that demonstrates the MarTech provider's commitment to this space.
Okay, so there's a lot going on right now, but with that in mind, what do you expect the space to look for in about 5 years' time? What would be the big things you'd expect to see have happened?
Yeah, one of the trends we're seeing in particular from a data side is around the emergence of companies who are partners exchanging data between one another. So an example would be if I'm Delta Airlines and have lots of data about folks who are traveling, whether for business or personal use, my partner Marriott might find that data very useful in its digital advertising campaigns. And this trend exists really across the business landscape, right? If I'm Instacart, my partner Kroger would be very interested in the data that I have. So enabling safe, secure collaboration between business partners is an area we see this customer data trend that I mentioned earlier extending out over the next 5 years, where today it's really about managing your own customer data well towards your advertising campaigns, and then we see it increasingly being about managing that data with your business partners.
Okay, that's very interesting. And you mentioned their campaigns. How do you measure the effectiveness of a great story or great campaign in your mind?
Yeah, in my mind, it's really around increases in customer loyalty as measured through customer lifetime value. So if someone likes your story, they're going to come back and buy from you again, engage with you again. So that loyalty or lifetime value aspect, which has been a little bit overlooked, I think, in traditional advertising, where we've measured things like attitudes and usage, but because we haven't had this linked customer data, it's been more difficult to look at a relationship over time. As marketers are moving more towards having their own customer data asset, investing in this data asset, they'll be able to see the difference between someone who just purchased once and is possibly a lower profitability customer, you've just come in once and kind of gone away, versus those really loyal customers who end up being your most profitable. There's a statistic that I read recently that an increase in 5% in your customer retention can actually increase your profitability by 75 to 90%, which is just a massive statistic. A 5% increase in retention has that big an increase on profitability. So when I think about campaigns and telling great stories, this shift towards being able to measure the customer, I think is an important one that we'll see.
Perfect. And just to finish on something looking to the future, whenever anyone talks about data, they start talking about automation, and eventually they talk about artificial intelligence. What do you think the future is, the near future for AI in the industry?
Right. In our industry, the impact I see of AI is, I think it'll really eliminate customer segmentation, as marketing has known it and has built the industry around for decades. So, most campaigns, when you get into a campaign plan, break out into about 3 to 5 segments. And generally they share some similarities, right? So if I'm selling a new internet subscription service, there's probably a young and aspirational segment, and there's a middle-aged and established segment, and there's a elder and higher net worth segment. The promise of AI is to be able to eliminate all that with really statistical models to move from 3 to 5 segments to tens or dozens or even hundreds of micro segments, to really move from segments to messaging to the individual. If you run an AI response model, even the simplest models have 10 or 20 different nodes or segments. So that gives you an idea of how the industry can progress from more simple customer segmentation planning to a lot more complex, modeled and very discrete micro segments, and that results in more specific messages to each of us as consumers and individuals.
Great, an exciting future ahead. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.